stall in dirty configuration. So dirty means basically flaps down. If you do have gear, then that the gear would be down as well. And that's indicated by the bottom of the white arc.
Is dirty also, does that also mean that it's trimmed as well? Or is it nothing to do with it?
Nothing to do. All right. So don't get confused with VSO. So VS is clean, VSO is dirty. All right. Now, when you guys are training for your multi-engine and such, all right, you guys are gonna do only one type of stall, but the type will vary between clean and dirty. All right. In a single engine PPL and such, there isn't many clean or dirty. All right. There's just power on stall, power off stall. I'll give you all time to write it down. Jeff, power on or power off? Yes, right? So when you're doing your flight test exercises, right, you will have to practice those and you will have to demonstrate it on a flight test.
Taking flight testing examiners or flying examiners yelling engine fire.
Yeah.
Does that happen?
Was it for real or just an example?
No, they're like, okay, this is simulated engine fire.
Oh, that happened, yes.
And then, because of course he was almost gonna call it by accident too.
Did he fail?
No, like he was gonna press the thing and say mate, but he told me he's like I was so close to hitting it because it's forced habit, right? So like pressing and pop, but he didn't. It's just like, yeah.
Okay. VX. So in simple words, VX is your best angle of climb. All right. So you don't need to write down the second point, just write down what I tell you instead, okay? It's the greatest height in the least distance. Okay? So if you have 2,000 feet and you need to figure out, and you need to climb the highest you could within 2,000 feet of runway, that is what they mean by distance, all right? You will be flying for VX.
Greatest height in the least.
Yes. This speed increases with height. So it is not indicated again like a traditional, right? You do not need to fully write that down actually. For the Cessna, for our operation, for flight test operation, we say it's the same. Thanks. Okay, so we just say it like it's the same, all right? Good. And for reference here, it can sometimes be displayed. HTC, for example, Hotel Techno Charlie, the plane we have, has something like this, and it will be written down there actually. All right, if you ever go to 60, right? For us, if you guys want, you can write that down. For us, it's going to be 64 knots.
For our best one.
Yes, best angle. All right, so again, what's going on? Vx equal 64 knots in the Cessna. All right.
What's the VX and the Q400?
In the Q400, we don't have a climbing speed. We have a climbing attitude. So keep in mind, we have flight attendants in the back. So if you are in mountainous terrain, you'll pitch up to about 15 degrees nose up. After you're safe and done everything, right? Then you bring it to about 10. You bring it down to about 10 degrees, because when they have to push carts and such, 10 degrees incline, that's quite the workout for them. So we try to also think about them in the back. It was kind of weird because flying as an instructor, I never had flight attendants or anything like that. And now you actually have to think about them in the back. So it was like, ooh.
Well, I have the 90 other people.
No, I don't care about them. They're sitting down. Yes. I always like to put the seatbelt sign on because I feel like God, everyone sit down. But bad joke, I know. I'm sorry.
I keep it on.
Okay, continuing. We have VX, we have VY. VY is your best rate of climb. All right. So this is best rates, not best climb. Best. Yep.
Best rate of climb speed.
Yeah. The other one was best angle. All right. For that one is the greatest height in the least time. So last time we were talking about range. Sorry, about distance, right? This time we're talking about time. So if you have 1 minute to climb as high as you can, you go via this. All right? So when exactly would we be going over to VX and VY? If you have an obstacle, let's say even though with a short field takeoff, right? And the field itself is just short and you have obstacle on it, right? You would want to climb for VX first and then switch to VY after you are clear of the obstacle. Because we want to get to the altitude in the least amount of time. Okay? But on takeoff, it matters for the distance. No need to write that down. And it will be shown on the
VX is like kind of after VY normally. Like VY is before your VX. That kind of like you want to get your best rate of climb and then you're going to level up.
No, so you want to make sure you're clear of obstacles.
Yeah.
In the distance of runway you have, so VX, right? And then once you clear the obstacle, you go to V1. Now, if you don't have any obstacle, you can go to V1. Make sense?
I do.
What do we mean by obstacle? For that, we basically mean if you have a tree by the end of the runway, if you have a building or houses or anything like that, okay? So that's what we mean by obstacle, something that you don't want to collide to. So Jen asked the question, so basically VY is applied during takeoff only. Is it true? Yes and no, all right? I know, this sounds like a bad answer. But when we take off, if you don't have an obstacle, you go to VY. But if, let's say you are at 2,000 feet, climbing to 3,000, all right? In the air, we don't care about distance. We don't have any obstacle in the air at that point. And so you will want to get there as fast as possible. If you want to get there as fast as possible, you usually will climb at a VY speed. Okay? So VY is used for takeoff. VY is usually used for climb. Okay? On takeoff, at around 50 knots, you would bring the nose up, but then you'll leave it there to let the airspeed go up to 78. All right? Yes, which reminds me, right? Guys, write it down. VY is 78 for the Cessna. VY equals 78. That's food assessment.